the age-old saying, Sheldon, no hoof, no horse. Can you unpack that
Yeah,
for us?
100% can. If the horse can't trot, they simply can't gallop. So yeah, no foot, no horse. Simple. If they can't trot, they're not going to make a race on Saturday. So yeah, we've got to look after their feet. It's a pretty important part of what the trainers and owners need to have. Yeah, so synthetic hoof filler is a product we call Equalox or Hoof Life. So that's used for horses that have brittle walls, or like if a horse rips a shoe off, say in a Tuesday gallop, accidentally rips a shoe off, overreaches something and destroys the hoof wall. We've got nowhere to nail to. Some part of the wall is missing. We can't get a nail in there. So instead of trying and get a nail in where it can't, we might think it fit, but it won't. The horse will get pricked. What we call that is a nail will go into the sensitive laminate of the foot, and it'll be very lame and won't be able to walk. So obviously if we try and put a shoe on Tuesday after it gallops and it's racing Saturday and we get it with a nail, that horse is going to be lame Wednesday or Thursday. Not ideal to go to a race Saturday. So what we'll do there is use a synthetic hoof filler. So fill that void of the foot with this synthetic hoof filler, Equalox or Hoof Life. It sets it's a glue essentially, and it sets really hard, and then we can nail into that. And eliminates any risk of pricking that horse's foot like a nail prick. So yeah, like the quick in your finger, if we rip that out, they're going to go sore. So that's what we use it for. It's also used for glue-on shoes. So if a horse has got really, really brittle feet, both feet are brittle, we'll glue them on. So we'll use that glue to actually glue the whole shoe onto the horse. Yeah, so that's pretty much what Equalox is.
And essentially, Sheldon, punters see synthetic hoof filler as a gear change when they're doing their form for the weekend. It's not the end of the world. It is basically just to build that wall so they can get a nail.
100%. It's a big myth. I would not at all be concerned if a horse was a $2.50 favourite and had that in it. I'd back it every day of the week.
Why do we use bar plates?
Bar plates is a hot topic. A lot of people don't like them. A lot of old school trainers won't use them for the fact that they can get pulled off. I use aluminium, so I'll use an aluminium plate and I'll weld my own aluminium insert in. So I get an exact fit. I can shape the shoe to the exact shape of the foot, and then I'll weld the aluminium bar plate in. I do that because I get an exact fit and I don't lose many of them. A lot of blokes can't weld aluminium, farriers can't weld aluminium, so they'll use either steel, which then becomes a boat anchor. You can normally tie the P&O cruise ships up with them because they're so heavy, and I hate them. Or they'll use a aluminium factory-made bar plate, and they're so hard to shape because it's a full circle with a plate in the middle with an insert, and you can't shape them without heat or very strong wrists. So in that fact, you don't get an exact fit, and if a bit of shoe's hanging out here and there, they will rip them off. And yeah, it's another myth. A lot of trainers are very skeptical on bar plates. I use a lot of them, and we have a lot of success. The bar plate will also shift weight away from the heels onto the frog. So when the heel of a horse gets lower, this is a pretty important thing, when the heel of a horse gets lower than the frog, you're in a world of hurt. Okay, so that heel, so if you can imagine if that's the height of the frog and the heel is up here, it's fine. But if that heel drops below that level of the frog, you're going to get into a world of hurt. And it'll happen eventually. It's only a matter of time because they're galloping 2-3 days a week and working the other 6 days a week or 5 days a week, you know. So a horse in a paddock is not going to have too many dramas because they're walking around. They might get ridden twice a week. As a pony club horse or a camp draft horse is not going to. Mustering horse is only going to go mustering once every 2 weeks. These horses are under constant load, 6 days a week. Don't get a break. They go for a spell for 2 or 3 weeks. They're back in work. So a bar plate is essentially heading off. We want to head off any dramas before it gets a drama. So I'll use them quite a lot in training. I'll never race in them. If I have to at a pinch, I will, but I prefer not to. So what we do there is take the bar plate off the morning of the race or the afternoon before and just put a normal race plate on, and then the bar plates go back on Monday morning and they continue the training. So yeah.
So in your opinion, Sheldon, that would be your best preventative process, but not only that, when the horse is going to the races, in your personal opinion, bar plates on whilst the horse is doing their work, and then take them off race morning or before the race.
Yeah. So if I told you the amount of horses I've had in bar plates that have gone on to win big races, you'd be quite shocked.
Yeah.
But I have to put them on to keep that horse sound in training, but we don't race them in it.
They're not racing in it.
So, you know, the odd horse will race in them and they will win. It's not a taboo at all. You know, you can win races, but I prefer not to. But I do our horses do a lot of training in that.
When a punter sees concussion plates as a gear change, what are they used for? Why do we use
Same thing. Concussion plates, they're a normal plate with some rubber glued all around the whole plate, okay? A lot of trainers, or some trainers like them. I don't use them at all because I don't see how that little bit of rubber is going to help an open heel shoe. You want to utilise, as I said with a bar plate, you want to utilise that frog. So no, same again, no problem. I would race them in it if I had to. If the trainer wanted them, I would, but my first option would be a bar plate of some sort and then go from there. But yeah, concussion plate, all it is lined with rubber all around the whole rim of the shoe.
When a punter looks into a form guide and a horse has its better form on soft and heavy,
yeah,
where they look to see good and it's 0, 0, 0,
yeah,
are we seeing a horse A with possible flat feet, and what is that? What does that mean? And no heel.
Yeah, 100%. So a lot of horses that you'll see go on heavy ground or soft ground, generally they're a very flat-footed horse, and that obviously just goes with the territory. That means they can handle the sting out of the ground, so the ground's softer, so their foot's not going to get a lot of concussion up through there.
And their foot, their sole is closer to the ground?
Yeah, 100%. Well, so their sole is probably a lot thinner than a horse that's got good feet. What I mean by that is the hoof wall is thin as well, and the sole is thin. So generally the rule of thumb is if a horse has got thin soles, it's got thin walls, or a horse with thin walls has got thin soles. So that horse is going to not cop concussion very well. So, you know, a summer track in Brisbane that's had no rain, a horse with very flat feet is going to suffer a lot. Getting back to that with bar shoes, that's where the bar shoes come into play, because they'll do all their training in a bar plate, bar shoe, bar plate, and then we'll swap them over just for the race. So they're only really having that one race that you want them to prime for on the Saturday without the bar plate, so they're not going to feel as much concussion. If they've got normal shoes on through the whole, say, 3 months of their prep and they've got flat feet, they're going to get concussion every day of the week, whereas the bar plate's going to offload that concussion.